Hello and welcome to another episode of Taking Back Saturday, a Happy Buyers Club podcast where we break down the real estate market each and every Friday and help home buyers build confidence, follow a process, and hopefully buy really happy. I'm your host, Chase Jones, and joining me, as he does every week, is my man, Sam Hunter. How are you, Sam?
Mr. Jones, very well. Thank you very much. We're not doing this on a usual day. The on-air sign's not even on.
This room has no windows. No one knows what time it is.
This is true. Anything could happen today. But we're here because we keep getting asked questions of, we want to buy a house like before Christmas.
Yeah.
And it is October, and yet Christmas is on everyone's mind. It's on Kmart's mind. It's on Big W's mind.
For sure. Time and place. It is Wednesday, October the 2nd right now. By the time this podcast comes out, though, we're talking 75 days into Christmas. So
Sure.
The Christmas trees are well and truly in the department stores.
You've got a Halloween aisle and a Christmas aisle, and that is two terrifying things. You're going to have hot cross buns before you know it.
The clash of holiday seasons, man.
For sure.
Okay, so for buyers out there, 75 days. And I'm assuming like that's to Christmas. I mean, you're not doing a lot on Christmas Day with real estate. You probably had to wind that back a few days, and you're starting to lose days already here.
I think we're going to do everything we can in the next, hopefully, 20 minutes.
Come on.
Yeah.
Push.
22 minutes to, maybe if we don't just waffle less, we actually do
fluffing about.
Yeah, for sure. So, we're going to do everything we possibly can to walk through how we would buy a house between now and Christmas, right? So, you made a point, Christmas is 75 days away. Realistically, you're not going to settle on Christmas, and you're not going to settle the week of Christmas. Last business day of the year for a lot of solicitors, certainly the good ones, is probably going to be Friday the 20th. I reckon they'll all be pushing people to settle on Thursday the 19th. So if you take 30 days off from Friday the 20th, that takes you to the 20th of November. Realistically, the weekend before that, that's a Wednesday, the weekend before that, Saturday the 16th, that will be
bumper.
Yeah, by far and away the last big auction weekend of the year. We've said to sort of our pipeline of clients that we want to take them on between now and the end of October, and from there we'll just be buying who we've got, and everybody else will help buy on their own, or we'll pick things up again second week of January, because there's not a great deal of good stuff available. There's the odd deal there and everywhere, but it's been a good year for us. We want to try and find some time to spend with our families as well. I think a lot of people will too. So yeah, if you're in the market listening to this and you want to buy a house, there's
6 weeks.
Yeah, 45 days, 6 weeks to find the one if you want to buy this year.
And it can be done. 6 weeks is a fast-tracked search, but it gives you enough time to do it properly, but it does require a commitment to it.
For sure.
There's no time for fluffing about, for waffling through. It is about, setting yourself up to find success, whether it be this weekend or in 6 weekends' time. But if you want to have Christmas at your new house, this is the way to do it.
All right, Chase. So how do we do it?
Okay. My first step, and we always talk about preparation, sharpen the axe, pre-approvals. Okay. Pre-approvals last 90 days. Cool. Here we go. We've got 75 days into Christmas. Get that locked away first. Have those conversations with your great brokers first and foremost. Get confidence from them. And obviously that's going to shape what's going to happen moving forward.
So absolutely know your numbers. Have a not rock solid pre-approval. So that allows you to actually make offers.
Definitely.
In the next 6 weeks.
Yeah. And not just know what the numbers are, know what timeframes you're working with as well. If you are to see something, how short of a finance term could you offer? Do you need to offer 7 days? Can you offer unconditionally? Ask the question. Don't assume, ask the question. And if there's things that you can do prior to offering that are going to shorten that time frame up for your broker, make their job a little bit easier, do it.
Love that. Okay, so once you've got your numbers locked away and you've got that finance pre-approval, and there's 75 days till Christmas and 6 weeks to buy a house, but you've got 90 days where numbers aren't going to change. You can go and buy a house for that price. The next thing that you got to do, and again, we repeat ourselves a lot on this show, but that's because there's like real estate rhymes.
We repeat ourselves a lot in regular life too, not just on this podcast.
We do indeed. If you're going to find yourself, and this is, I guess, the conversations that we have with our clients, if we're going to actually do a job for you that hasn't been able to happen for the last 4 months, 6 months, whatever it is, and ideally we're going to do it in 6 weeks, we need clarity on what you're looking for. What is the absolute non-negotiable and where the compromises lie? Once you guys know your numbers, you've got to have those conversations together. So what is it that you're actually looking for? What do you really want? What are you unwilling to compromise on? Once you've had that argument.
Yeah, don't just talk about it, write it down.
For sure. Like genuinely go to ground on it to the point where you're sick of talking to each other, but you actually really and truly understand what it is you're looking for. Then go and find 5 properties that have sold, ideally in the last 3 months. If you have to stretch to the last 6 months, do that, but no longer. Find 5 examples. Call those real estate agents and say, hey, you sold this property at 13 Example Road. And if we were ready, we would have bought that and we would have paid that or $1,000 or $5,000 more. That is the home for us.
Go find me the next 13 Example Road.
How many appraisals have you done just like that? Who's desperate to move before the end of the year? Who just wants a contract in place before the end of the year so that they can go looking for their own house in the new year? We want to buy before Christmas. We're flexible, if you can be flexible, of course. But just use that example to call an agent rather than spunking out 50 realestate.com.au inquiries that says, can I have a price guide?
Yeah, for sure. One, by writing all this stuff down. So first writing down what it is that you're looking for and then having those 5 examples, that's your text to an agent. That's what you're talking about to an agent. If you're calling and just saying, oh, I'm looking to buy between now and Christmas, but you can't like confidently tell them I'm looking for this, just like this, and this. What have you got for me? What have you seen? Is there something coming up that I should know about? That's just a great way to speak with confidence and to show them how keen you actually are to get into the market, because you are ready and you've got like almost evidence that what you're looking for is out there. I just need you to find it for me.
And I think you're feeding their greed to a degree too by saying like, I'd have bought that and I'd have paid more. And if you can do that, suddenly the agent's like, oh, another deal before Christmas.
Yeah.
Who have I got in my database? Who have I appraised that's exactly like 13 Example Road? I might actually call them now. So I think doing that with 5 agents gets you in the rhythm of talking to real estate agents, right? There is no secret to the, I guess, success that we bring to our clients. We're just not scared to talk to real estate agents.
I tell you what, I'm talking to a few more than 5, and I would encourage you to do the same. If you want to buy in the next 6 weeks so that you are having your Christmas lunch at your new house, you will need to speak to at least 20 agents.
And I think on that note, right, it's you've got your 5 that you would have bought. Go and find everything else that's sold that maybe you wouldn't have bought, right? But it meets those non-negotiables, bedrooms, bathrooms, the areas that you want to live in, and has sold ideally in the last 6 months. Find out the agents that sold those properties, add their name and add their phone number to your phone. And every Tuesday morning, send them a text message saying, hey Chase, it's Sam again. I'm still looking for a 4-bed, 2-bath in Tarragindi up to 2.2. You sold this one. I want the next one.
Yep.
Are you appraising anything like that this week?
Definitely.
Question mark.
Yeah. Have you got anything off market or coming soon that might suit me? And just send that out to enough people consistently. And the reason why you say Tuesday, Sam, is because Monday is a follow-up day.
For sure. They're doing their job.
100%. If you've seen things on the weekend, you should be hearing from a real estate agent on a Monday. Give them some good feedback, why you didn't like it, why you did like it, but you're not offering on it, whatever it is. Take that call. They'll appreciate it. It'll put you in their good books moving forward. But don't expect that if you're just cold calling per se as a buyer on a Monday that you are going to get anything substantial. Exactly right. Their mind is elsewhere. They've probably already punched through 50 calls by the time that they're getting back to you. So Tuesdays, Wednesdays, really good time to sort of put yourself front and center, set yourself up for later in the week. And another tip with identifying agents, you can, not to give REA, a big pump up here, but there is a feature on the desktop version of realestate.com.au where you hit agent and you can type suburbs in and it will give you the agents that are doing the biggest volume in those areas. And you can actually specify it to houses, townhouses, units as well. So almost not necessarily just having to scroll through the solds, but if you can be like, okay, great, well, I clearly need to speak to, Mr. Smith, Mr. Jones, Mr. Tolley. Hello.
Friend of the show.
And those are going to be a part of your 20. Yep. They're your key agent pool, we're going to call them.
Yeah.
Every Tuesday, text message, this is what I'm after, for sure. Just like this one.
And I think off the back of that as well, there's a lot of momentum and progress you can make through the week. I think a lot of people just kind of sit back and wait, and they're in real estate mode for 3 hours on a Saturday. And if you want to buy between now and Christmas, you've got to be in real estate mode, not all day, every day, but certainly for at least an hour a day.
For sure.
Minimum. And it's going to those midweek open homes, like actually connecting with those agents, giving them good feedback. If you're in an open home at 5 o'clock on a Wednesday, particularly if you're a family looking, you are a serious buyer because you are in the middle of chaos time. You've probably bought kids that are knackered and hungry and everything like that. And you are there looking at that house because you need to move in the next 6 weeks.
You're doing the tag team where one partner goes in, does it, comes back, sits with the kids in the car who are eating McDonald's in the back seat while the other one does a lap as well.
Like, yes, it feels like there's pressure to get this, I want to be in before the end of the year result, but there's pressure on the selling side as well. So if you're there on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Thursday night and you like it, there's an opportunity to test motivation, to test the process, to try and take things away from people before it makes it to a Saturday. Maybe not the first Saturday if it's a really strong agent who's actually representing that seller, but certainly maybe the second one if they've not got a result, because people who are on the market now want to sell in the next 6 weeks as well. So there's opportunity there, but you've got to be in the market, and ideally you want to have those conversations in person. What buys this tonight? What buys this tomorrow morning? Right? Give the feedback in real time at the open as you're putting your shoes back on when you're leaving, rather than waiting for the phone call the next day. Like, we should have just called this whole podcast, be proactive for 6 weeks, and you will probably buy a great house at a great price.
100%. And like you say, like setting yourself up early in the week, making the calls, just do it and do the research ahead of time. Like it's due diligence. It's, if you're waiting till Saturday to do it, it's overdue diligence, like, oh, that's a tongue twister. Should have practiced that one.
Really good.
But, like, that's the truth though. Like, if you're not doing it ahead of time, you're chasing your tail and you are going to be behind the eight ball. You will miss opportunities if you can just commit a little bit of time to it, particularly when it's at its hardest. Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, you will be thankful for it, because when the right thing does present itself, and it will in the next 6 weeks, if you're following these steps, you can move quickly to actually buy it, as opposed to just think about buying it.
For sure. I think last point, and again, this is just the process that we've outlined. It's what we do day in, day out. It's what anybody can do for themselves day in, day out, right? It's just time in the game more than anything else, and volume of conversations, asking the right questions, getting yourself to a point where you are ahead of everybody else, and ideally buying ahead of everybody else. The last thing that I'd suggest, and this works for us, so I'm hoping it's going to work for you guys as well, is when you are getting feedback to the agent of why it wasn't for you, maybe it was too expensive, maybe it was the wrong property, just say to them, who else came through that might have a house that they own that I'm looking for? Because I tell you what, the first phone calls that real estate agents make on a Saturday afternoon and on a Monday are of the buyers that came through their opens who own a house, because it's their next listing opportunity, right? Those buyers might own a house that looks good to you. The agent might know to remember it when it comes up, or to think of you, unless you're positioning in front of them. We get a lot of leads from saying, hey, mate, who did you meet on the weekend that's actually got something to sell that fits any of our client briefs? You guys can do the same thing.
100%. You want to be the person or the buyer that they are thinking about when those phone calls are made, or when they're sitting at that coffee table speaking about how they can progress that from an appraisal to something more. Because there's a buyer that's you waiting in the wings.
Christmas.
It's ready to go. Exactly right. Sam, any more tips to buy before Christmas?
Worst case, call us.
Nice, yeah. Nice one.
In the rest 6 weeks.
Do your due diligence. Don't let it become over due diligence.
That's good.
I definitely should have written it down.
For sure. I think we might just put that up as a blooper. It's good.
He's Sam. I'm Chase. Cue the song.